gather this day a mixed multitude of race, creed, and gender. We are the dignity of difference. We are America. Amongst us, faith leaders, Jewish, Christian, and Muslims, but in each one of us is a shared common heritage that rejects bigotry, that has no tolerance for intolerance, for we are a people who choose faith over fear. We will not let hate enter our hearts, nor will we allow politics to divide us. For it is written on the Statue of Liberty, as is written upon our hearts, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Today we lift the lamp of liberty. We heed the biblical injunction to welcome the stranger. We will not close our borders to the war-torn refugees. We will not shun them. We will welcome them. Abraham the sojourner opened his tent to the stranger, and so will we. No less than 36 times does the Torah, the Bible, command, remember that you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why should you not hate the stranger? Rabbi Jonathan Sachs writes, because once you stood where he stands now. You know the heart of the stranger because you were once a stranger in the land of Egypt. If you are human, so is she. If he is less than human, so are you. You must fight the hatred in your heart, as I once fought the greatest ruler and the strongest empire in the ancient world on your behalf, so that you would fight for the rights of the stranger, wherever they are, whoever they are, whatever color of their skin or the nature of their culture, because though they are not in your image, says God, they are nonetheless in mine. There is only one reply strong enough to answer the question, why should I not hate the stranger? Because the stranger is me. I'm a first-generation American. I'm a child of a Holocaust survivor. My mother at age 9 was told to wear a yellow star on her clothes so she could be recognized as the stranger, even though her family had lived in her hometown in Germany for more than 400 years. She was lucky. I was given life because she was given refuge here in America. Every refugee is grateful, and we should be grateful to all of them. To the over 100,000 foreign-born men and women who serve in our armed forces this very day, defending our homeland, their homeland. The refugee we have welcomed has given us the theory of relativity in Albert Einstein, Google and Serge Bin, Intel and Andrew Grove, Yahoo and Jerry Yang. It has brought us Joseph Pulitzer, the journalist, Ian Pei, the architect, Felix Frankfurter, the Supreme Court Justice. Without welcoming the stranger, we would not have a white Christmas or God Bless America, for we would have shunned Irving Berlin and the opportunity to bring his gifts to bear in America. Remember to welcome the stranger, for you were a stranger in the land of Egypt. We believe in faith, not fear. I lift my lamp so that we may see from sea to shining sea, America the beautiful, America the land where strangers are welcome with open arms and open hearts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Father Charles Courtnovis, and I am from the Catholic Archdiocese of Washington. I'm delighted to be here with you this afternoon and to add my voice to the many you've heard and will hear about the pressing issue of helping refugees and welcoming the stranger. While I work in ecumenical and interreligious relations, I'm also a pastor of a parish in Maryland, and I've been able to say to the question, what can I do, to be able to give you an example of what we have done in my parish to welcome refugees and the strangers. Working with Lutheran Social Services, my parish in Maryland welcomed a family of 6 from Afghanistan this past year. Now, it's interesting because my parishioners took the initiative. They donated or were able to find donations from others for everything from furniture to kitchen utensils to food and clothing. My parishioners prepared the apartment where the family would come to live and accompanied them closely in their first few weeks here. They would drive to the apartment and help them get their children registered in the local school, help the family to find work, and I'm pleased to say that a year later, It's amazing what has happened. The father of the family is working in a job that he's trained for, that he likes. His wife is here learning English. The children are in regular classrooms and making friends quickly. They are delighted to be here, and they're grateful to be in a place, in a community where they feel safe and wanted. But what also happened was so interesting in my own community. It wasn't just a small group of people who came together to help or from one part of the church. It was people from all ages and all walks of life. Everyone chipped in to do their part. Together as a parish, and we're not the largest of parishes, we were able to help one family find peace, dignity, and happiness. Several years ago, Pope Francis called for every Catholic monastery, parish, and organization in Europe to accept at least one refugee family to help those who are coming and fleeing war and terror in their own lands. If every congregation tried to take the initiative and reach out to families in this way, those who come here would have their lives transformed, and so would those who help them. May we see the current world refugee crisis, the greatest in several generations, as an opportunity to show love and compassion for those who are scared and fleeing to a place where they know no one. Because our nation from its inception, as Rabbi Lustig mentioned, has been a nation of refugees and immigrants with many famous ones among us, it is incumbent upon us and upon our future generations to welcome those who would make their land, our land, their own home. As Cardinal Wuerl has said himself, through our immigrant and refugee outreach programs, the Catholic Church will continue to serve as a visible sign of God's mercy and our solidarity with brothers and sisters, no matter how far they have traveled. May all of us be willing to take up the Pope's challenge to help refugees in whatever way possible and to show solidarity with them, because in doing so, it will not only help them, it will change our communities and our own lives for the better. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Graham, and I am the local bishop of what is called the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And I'm honored to be able to come before you today and speak this afternoon about refugees. On one side of my family, I'm descended from Scots-Irish people who came here before the American Revolution. And on the other side, from German people who came here very late in the 1800s. Those people all came here because they were starving at home. They couldn't make a living where they were. They wanted a better life for their children. They were economic refugees, just like many of the people who have come to the United States throughout its history and even before. We are not here this afternoon as faith leaders to turn the United States government into a faith movement, but we are here to remind the government of its own highest ideals and to call on others as individuals and as groups to advocate for the best part of American history, the part that has always acknowledged the role of refugees and immigrants in building this country, in working hard, in changing it, in making it more diverse, and actually making it a lot more interesting, too. It's a blessing that we can be together up here. The cause of refugees pulls together people from different faith communities who might not otherwise have so very much to do with each other. If you were listening closely just a minute ago, you heard Father Charlie say that in his Roman Catholic parish, they resettled their refugee family with the assistance of Lutheran social services. That Lutherans and Catholics and lots of other people of faith can come together around care for refugees is very important. As individuals, we can make a difference. Individual acts of kindness, individual acts of advocacy, individual acts of courage that reject fear and hatred of the different, that's what we call on people for. Again, we call on people to do this not so much because hatred of refugees and immigrants is just anti-Jewish or anti-Christian or anti-Islamic, but because fear-mongering and hatred of people who are different than we are is actually un-American. We call on all of us to behave in the light of our own best angels. And as people of faith, we do this in prayer and with courage and with great hope. Thank you very much.
I'm Wilson Gunn, General Presbyter of National Capital Presbytery. We speak 12 different languages here and more than 100 congregations. My ancestor, Jasper Gunn, was an undocumented religious refugee from England. He arrived in Connecticut in 1639. He did not quite find the religious freedom that he sought. From Milford, Connecticut, the family was successively displaced and pushed up the Connecticut River. The source of their ongoing displacement, the Congregationalists. We each are inclined to seek our own advantage, even at the expense of others. That's human nature. We human beings demonstrate a proclivity to tribalism, but also a proclivity to compassion. Today we stand before you, Protestant, Jew, Catholic, Muslim. We could add Hindu, Sikh, Zoroastrian, Buddhist, Latter-day Saint, Quaker, and more. The best of our religious expression diminishes our tribal inclinations and enhances our compassionate capacities. The best of our religious expression calls us above our human natures. The best of our religious expression calls for us to die to the selfish tribal self and rise to the selfless, compassionate self. Now, we Presbyterians are very serious about the Bible as authoritative for faith and life. 2 Kings 24 contrasts the reign of the good king Josiah to that of the bad king Jehoiakim. Here we find a biblical measurement for the quality of a government. With good government, we see compassion for the poor, the outcast, the alien, the oppressed, who find sanctuary and justice. With bad government, we see the rich, the powerful, the advantaged becoming even richer, more powerful, and more advantaged. I leave to you then the judgment as to whether any particular government is good or bad, but there is the measurement criteria. How do the poor fare? Friends, it's past time that we demanded good government from every government. It's past time for every leader to broaden our compassionate capacity and restrain our tribal proclivities. If our so-called leaders do not, they really should not be entrusted with the responsibilities of governance. Now, my tribe and the Congregationalists are now at peace. We have risen above those tribal tribulations. We now join together in compassionate ministries. We seek justice and the common good. We agree on the qualities of good governance. We agree on the protection of the vulnerable, the alien, the refugee fleeing some tribal conflagration. We choose welcome. We choose compassion. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Majid. I'm the Imam of All Dallas Area Muslim Society Adams Center in Virginia, a mosque that have 5,000 families. Some of them are refugees that they're contributing a lot to the goodness of this country. As we gather here today to celebrate and to advocate for our brothers and sisters who seek refuge in this beautiful country and for all the refugees around the world, I've been reminded of the story of Joseph and Holy Quran and Abraham and Moses and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon all of them, who themselves were refugees. They have left their homeland to seek refuge and protection somewhere else. It was Joseph who saved Egypt at the difficult times. I see every day in my community the children of those refugees, whether they are from Afghanistan or Iraq or Syria or Somalia, as wonderful children. Some of them are in the Dean list. People of faith should adhere to the golden rules of compassion by welcoming the stranger and helping those who are in need. We must see those refugees as our brothers and sisters The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, no one can claim that he or she is a man of faith or woman of faith until they love for their brothers and sisters what they love for themselves. Also, he said, humanity is one body. If any part of it ache, the rest should respond to it with fever. One of the best-selling poets in North America is Rumi, who was himself was a refugee in the age of 13 or 12. Him and his family left Afghanistan and ended up in Turkey. It's Rumi who said, be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder, help someone to heal.